Hello everybody, hope you all are safe and fine. Today we are going to study about the lesson 10 of science, that is living organisms and their surroundings. The chapter overview of what all things are we going to study in this chapter are about the habitat, the biotic and the abiotic components, and then we are going to study about the different kinds of habitats, that is the terrestrial and the aquatic. In the terrestrial, we are going to study about the different adaptations, that is desert, mountain and grasslands. And in aquatic, we are going to study about the adaptations of the plants and animals in the aquatic habitat. So let us start. First of all, we'll study that what is habitat. So the natural living place of an organism is called its habitat. An organism depends on its habitat for food, water, air and shelter. Several kinds of organisms are found in a habitat. So, the surroundings where an organism lives, that is called its habitat, and there are two components of a habitat. They are known as the biotic components and the abiotic components. Now, if we define both of these, the abiotic and the biotic components, the biotic components are the living components of a habitat. For example, plants, animals and other microorganisms. Abiotic components are the non-living components of a habitat. For example, air, water, soil, sunlight, temperature and rocks. So, the living creatures are known as the biotic components and the non-living creatures are known as the abiotic components. Now, the habitat and the adaptations which we have to study are terrestrial adaptations. In this, the desert adaptation, mountains and the grasslands, and the aquatic adaptations. So, first of all, we will be starting with the adaptations. First of all, we should know that actually what do we mean by adaptation? The presence of special features in or certain habits which enable a plant or an animal to live in its surroundings is called its adaptation. Okay. Now, first we have the terrestrial habitat. If the habitat is land, it is called terrestrial habitat. For example, desert, forest, grassland, mountains, etc. Now, first we have about the desert plants. So, in the adaptations of desert plants, the leaves are absent, reduced or modified into spines to reduce water loss by transpiration. That means the leaves will be reduced in the form of spines. Other adaptations of desert plants are stem is green and it performs photosynthesis. Stem stores water, so it is thick and it is fleshy. Okay, so this is the adaptation of plants in an desert area. Now we come to the animals of the desert area. So we are going to study about the camel. So camel has long legs to keep the body away from hot sand. It stores foods as fat in its hump. It can store water in its body. Then the hooves of the camel are well suited for walking on sand. It has long eyelashes which prevent the sand from falling into its eyes. So, if we see about the plants and animals, both have the characteristics which suit the survival in the desert area. Next, we come to the mountain regions. Mountain trees grow in conical pattern with sloping branches which help the snow to slide down. Then they have a needle-shaped leaves which help water and snow to slide down the plant. That means both the plants, they do not allow the snow to remain over the leaves of the trees. Then the animals in the mountain region, a snow leopard is white in color that can hide in the environment. And this is also known as the camouflage, right? Then thick fur to protect from cold. The claws to prevent slipping on the surface of the snow. Then another animal living in the mountain area is the mountain goat. Mountain goat has thick white fur. It has strong hoofs for running up the rocky slopes. So these are the animals which are living in the mountain region. Next we come into the grassland areas. Now in the grassland areas, the animal which is generally found is the lion. So the adaptations in lion is, it has light brown color which helps to hide in grasslands, long claws which can be withdrawn inside. Both the eyes in front of the head gives correct idea about the location of the prey. Then another animal which is found in the grassland area is a deer. So the adaptations in deer are what? First one, it can run faster to escape from the predators. It has strong teeth for chewing the hard stem. It has long ears to hear the movement of the predator. It has eyes at the side of the head which allows to look in all directions for the danger. So these are the adaptations of the grassland animals. Now another habitat which we have is the aquatic habitat, which is the habitat of water. And in aquatic habitat we generally study about the oceans and their animals and plants. So the aquatic animals adaptations are, first they have a streamlined or the boat-shaped body for easy movement in water. Then they have gills for respiration, and their body is protected by the scales. Now some water animals which do not have gills, they have the blowholes. Dolphins and whales, they have nostrils to breathe air from atmosphere which is known as the blowholes. Okay. Then we come to the water animals or the aquatic animals. So in the figure we can see lotus and Vallisneria. Okay, so in this adaptation is what? That roots, the plants which have the roots, they are fixed in the soil, that is in the water bed. Some other plants like the Salvinia, Pistia and water hyacinth, they are floating plants. That means they can easily float on water. Now the adaptations are, stem of lotus is hollow, long and light. Leaves are disc-shaped. Leaves and flowers can float on water. Leaves have waxy coating to prevent water stagnation. Stagnation means stopping of water on the leaves. So the leaves do not hold water on their surfaces. They can easily remove water due to the waxy coating. Then the leaf stalks is filled with air to help floating. Now why is it filled with air? To make the leaf lighter in weight, so that the leaf doesn't sink down in water. It can easily float on water. Now another animal which we have to study is the frog, because it is an amphibian. It can live on both aquatic habitat also and terrestrial habitat also. So the important adaptations in a frog are that it can breathe in water and land. It has webbed feet to swim in water. It has strong legs to take long leaps. It has a sticky tongue to catch insects. So what we can say, that frog has adaptations to live both in land also and in water also. So in this video, what all things have we studied are, we have studied about what is a habitat. Then it contains the biotic and the abiotic components. Biotic is living and abiotic is non-living. Then we have studied about the terrestrial habitat, the animals and the plants which are in the terrestrial habitat, their adaptations. Then we have studied about the aquatic habitat and the plants and animals living there and their adaptations. So this is all about what we have to study in this chapter. You can note down all the important points which are given, because it is all given in point format, so or everything can be noted down. Okay, the question answers and the worksheet is also given in the description box. You can access it and complete your work. Okay, we'll be meeting with the next chapter soon. Till then, stay home and stay safe. Thank you.